everybody. Thank you for being here. Well, our next guest was on our show for the first time back in February and quickly became one of our favorites. Now, Chef Yia Vang is ready to open his first standalone restaurant. Joining us live via Zoom to talk about that and more is our good friend, the great Chef Yia Vang. Good morning, friend.
Hey, Jason. How are you, man?
I'm great. I got to tell you, when I see headlines about people that are on our show and have become friends, my heart races. And when I saw the news about you and your restaurant, it made me so happy because it really couldn't happen to a better guy. Tell everybody about the place, Yia.
Yeah. So the new brick and mortar is called Vinai, and the name Vinai is actually named after it is named after the refugee camp that my family was in, and I was born in there in '84, and my parents met there in '77, '78, and then they got married, and then we left in '88 to come to America, and then we actually landed here in the Twin Cities. So the name of itself has a very special place to our family's heart, and then also to our people.
I was going to say, and you illustrated this to our audience so well the last time. Opening a restaurant like this is it's a real personal experience, right, Yia?
It is, because it's kind of like, the idea of just, an idea of a restaurant or a new endeavor, it started out as kind of like a whisper in your head, and when things are like in your head, you just think about it, it can't fail. But the moment you actually start speaking about it, and the moment you start putting it on paper and you start getting people around, there's that fear of like, oh my gosh, like this could fail. So yeah, it is very personal. And for me, I've told people that Vinai, the restaurant, it's a love letter to my mom and dad. And it's what it is. It's going to be this anthem to them of all their sacrifices, everything they've given up, everything that they've given up for us as the children. And so I want to be able to put that all in one restaurant.
Yeah, what's in the love letter, my friend? What are we going to be eating there?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the recipes will be inspired by my mom and dad's table. But one of the things that I love talking about is the fact that we're really trying really hard to get a wood fire grill inside the restaurant, because that's how my dad first taught me how to cook, is just cooking over wood fire, and letting kind of the wood do a lot of the speaking. And then we'll be serving all this kind of sauces that my mom makes for us. And so, yeah, so definitely all of that. And then we also like we're working on this drink program where it's really fun, where we're using all these little drinks, all these different kinds of drinks and kinds of cocktails that as kids, like all these flavors that we knew growing up as like little Hmong kids who would go to the Asian market and get all these different kinds of drinks. So yeah, so we want to play on those.
Yeah. What's the challenges? Because I don't need to tell you this. We see the headlines every day. The pandemic and the economic repercussions are hitting the restaurant industry particularly hard. What are the challenges you're facing opening a brick and mortar in the environment that we're in right now?
Yeah, dude, it's probably the same kind that you have your own place too, so it's probably like the same stuff you're going through.
Yeah.
One of the things that I started realizing is that I had two choices. We can either sit here and mope and be like, oh, poor us, the pandemic, and I do get that there's this time of grieving, and there is this time where we have to kind of see our reality, but then we have to kind of come together and move forward. It was something my father has always taught me. He would always say that there's no problem that you can't, that's big enough that you can't work the problem and keep moving forward. Vinai, the refugee camp, actually was a symbol of hope for our people. Like, I remember my mom would tell me stories about when they would hear stories about Vinai when they were in Laos, and say, hey, if we can get to Vinai, we can be safe. And somehow in the last 4 or 5 months, Vinai, the restaurant, has become the symbol of hope for us, our team, where of this idea of better things are yet to come, and that's what we really think about. And that's what I think about, is there's a lot of issues. We could sit here and break down all the financial stuff. We can break down everything. But at the end of the day, we need that hope. And if we don't have that, I think that it really just, as in our souls, it kind of starts dying. So we look at Vinai, the restaurant, as a symbol of hope for us to keep moving forward. And I love that, again, like I said, this is a love letter to my mom and dad. So knowing all the things that they've done to get us here, all the things that they had to go through to get us here, that's hope for me.
Yeah, I know one of the parts of the concept that was really important to you was communal dining. That's obviously going to probably have to be put on hold, but can you explain what that is and what your desire was with that?
Yeah. So here's the thing, Jason. We in our the way that we design our architect designed the place, we have this big 10 top table. You know, it's a 10 top table there. And somebody asked me, hey, should we remove that 10 top table so we can put smaller tables there? So you know, it's social distancing. And I was like, no, we're not going to do that. You know, that table. One of my college buddies is building that table for us. I'm like, we're not going to do that. We're going to put that table there. We're going to decorate that table. We're going to put a big, great centerpiece on it. And again, like I said, it's going to be a symbol of hope of the great things that are going to come. So like, I don't want to compromise on that, you know? Like, yeah, maybe we'll lose a little money in there because that space won't be taken up. But I want that to be a beacon for others to say that we will dine together again. We will come and sit around the table and eat again. And so that's kind of like my stubbornness, you know, I guess. Yeah. In a way of like moving forward, you know, like I want people to come in to eat with us. And then when they see that, they're like, hey, like that's where we want to be. That's where we want to go. That's the direction we want to go. That's why we love you. You don't compromise. You can learn more about Vinai at the website, vinai.mn.com. It's right there at the bottom of your screen. Okay, so he is going to stick around after the break. He's sharing his recipe for sweet and spicy cucumber salad. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this, everyone. Welcome back. We're chatting with our friend Chef Yia Vang, who was just named the best chef in City Page's Best of issue, and he joins us again to show us how to make sweet and spicy cucumber salad. Okay, this sounds really good. I didn't eat a big breakfast, so I'm starving. So this is killing me. Make it for us, my friend. Yeah, Jason, this is a great dish to do, especially in the summer when it's really hot. It's really refreshing, and you don't really need you don't need to turn on any ovens or anything. Okay. So what we're using is Hmong cucumbers. Now, Hmong cucumbers, you can use regular cucumbers. Hmong cucumbers are a little different. They're a little bigger, and they're like a cross between like a honeydew melon and a cucumber. So it's got a little bit of tardiness to it. So you can go to any Asian market, you'll find these. And right now, if you have a Hmong grandmother or Hmong mom like I do who's growing it, you just get it out of their garden. But yes, I don't know. It's funny because I was like, Mom, go grab me a couple. She's like, okay. And so you can totally do that. So Hmong cucumbers, that's what we're using. Again, if you want to use regular cucumbers, you can. We just skin it, and then we take out all the seeds from the inside. And then what we do is then, since after we take out all the seeds, we just kind of, I have a little piece here, and then you're just kind of run your knife through it, and then you want to kind of make these kind of bias cuts, and then real simple. And then go grab that, just throw that in your bowls, get some cilantro, salt, some cherry tomatoes, and then you just set that aside. Now, the next thing you do is in this pestle and mortar, what we do is we make the little sauce that goes with it. So I started with some shallots, some Thai chilies, some garlic, and then you mash that up, and then it gets into like almost a paste, a little salt in there. And then you get some tamarind concentrate. Throw a little bit of tamarind concentrate in there. If people aren't familiar with tamarind, it's like super tardy. So you need something to balance that. So you can either use simple syrup or honey. So I use honey in there. So that's where you have your sweet and sour. You get some fish sauce in there, and then you get some lime juice. Squeeze some fresh lime juice in there. And then once you get that, you kind of mash it around, and then you get this really deep, rich sauce in there. And so once we get here, it's pretty simple. You take your cucumbers, your cherry tomatoes, your cilantro, a little salt in there. We just toss this right in. Once we have that, you want it to cover. So you just want to dress it. You want it to cover. And for me, I know that cucumbers, really what it does is it dilutes the sauce a little bit. So I just want to throw a little bit of salt in there. Yeah. And you can make this 15 minutes before your guests arrive or for your house, because if you do it too early, it'll get super watery. So you want this real fresh. Okay. And then we have a bowl here, and then you throw it in. And then then we can dress it up a little bit here. So you want everything's very soft. So we want some texture. So we have some fried shallots. People get kind of bougie and fancy, so they'll make their own fried shallots. You can totally do that if you want. Or you can go to the Asian market for $1.89 and just get your own. this is, I jokingly say, and I do honestly mean it, this is the Hmong way. Like, we like work smarter, not harder. So, you know, you throw a little bit of fried shallots on there. And then what I really love is I love the creaminess and also just that kind of nuttiness from peanuts. So you throw some peanuts on top.
Oh.
You know, throw some peanuts on top of that, and then, you know, if you wanna upcharge an extra $5, you get some cilantro. You put it right in the center there.
Is that
lime in here?
Yeah? Is that $5 for the cilantro right there?
It's an upcharge. It's not necessarily $5, but it's since you make it look real nice. I mean, you know. You have a biscuit place. You know how to.
Yeah, I know about the upcharge. But yeah, if I come in, can I get the $3 cilantro, please?
Yeah, I mean that's probably like 2 strands. You know.
Okay.
But this is a little upcharge here.
Okay.
Make it look all the little doodads, as one of my buddies says.
Yeah, everybody in the studio is loving those cucumbers. When you were describing the flavor, can I ask you though, because I'm always trying to think about what people are at home trying to do this recipe's thinking. Do they peel like a normal cucumber?
It's literally like a normal cucumber.
Okay.
It again, the flavor is incredible. So what we still do, and as kids, is you just cut it in half and you scrape everything out, almost like a gazpacho, and you put a little sugar in it, a little honey in it, and that was kind of our quote unquote dessert. You know, well, it's super refreshing. If you juice it and get all the water out of that cucumber, it's great if you're making cocktail like mojitos. It's great for that. Again, it's not super sweet. It's a little tardiness, and so that a part of it is amazing. So if you go to like farmers market, or if you go to Asian markets, ask for Hmong cucumbers. They're incredible. And again, if you don't have one, find yourself a Hmong grandmother or Hmong mom who has a garden. Go grab it from their garden.
We will. We got to go, my friend. I just want to say publicly again, I'm so proud of you. All of this success couldn't be happening to a better guy. Continued success.
Thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Look for Yia Vang's new restaurant, Vinai, opening next spring in Northeast Minneapolis. Until then, you can get his food via takeout at Union Hmong Kitchen outside of Sociable Cider Works. Go to unionkitchenmn.com. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after.